guys, welcome to today's episode, and I'm so excited. I have an amazing guest for you today. Her name is Michelle, and as you guys know, one of the things that I did to write my book and was to interview over 1,000 women, and we basically went through and we literally said, what do you eat? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so we literally asked everyone what they did. And so you're going to get to hear this live at exactly what she does, what she eats, how she stays so thin. Look at her body. It's absolutely perfect. So and I love interviewing people. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So let's start by talking about counting calories.
Okay.
Do you ever, because a lot of people think, oh, the only way I'm going to lose weight is if I count calories. Do you ever count calories?
I do not.
Okay, did you hear that? She never counts calories. That's awesome. And so how do you kind of decide what you want to eat?
Honestly, I listen to my body. I see what it's craving. I mean, sometimes it wants sugar. Sometimes a lot of times I feel like as the older I've gotten, I've become more, I crave protein a lot. I'll crave something that, I love eggs. I eat so many eggs. And I made sure they were healthy. You know, like I talked to my doctor. I'm like, is it true? Like they're really bad for cholesterol? She's like, honestly, they're not. She's like, eat them. They're great. So I eat a lot of eggs, but I do crave sugar, and I do eat sugar when I crave it, and I don't limit myself. That's and awesome. I noticed that since I've been doing that, I don't binge on it.
So I've written a book called Fasting to Freedom. It's called The Gift of Fasting, and it really talks about if you want to do longer fasts, deeper fasts, if you're looking for freedom. And then I have about 5 chapters. I've written a book called Tune In God's Voice. We have the book and we have the Bible study. And again, in both of these, there's about 4 chapters all about fasting and how fasting can help you hear God's voice. So you can do the Bible study with friends. You can get a group of people together and do it together, or you can join us on Zoom or get the book and, do it by yourself. So hopefully you enjoy. So good. I want to kind of talk about this deprivation cycle, because just so you guys know, when I was in college, I actually became bulimic. And it was because I had gone on all these crazy diets. I was using food when I was stressed. I was actually a math major. And what I did was I would get stressed out. I was one of those kids that I never studied and made straight A's.
Okay.
But then once my 3rd year of college went in, it's the craziest thing when you do math, you don't have numbers anymore. It literally switches to letters. And I was so in over my head. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I can't switch majors now. I'm a junior,
right.
All of that. So I just started eating my feelings. And then I was like, well, I'm gaining weight and that's not going to work. So then I just started throwing it up. And I just really got myself on this horrible cycle of deprive myself. Then I got deprived, then I would binge. Mm-hmm. And even if you don't throw up, it's still that kind of cycle where you can get out of control. But if you eat what your body's actually craving within reason,
right,
then you don't have that crazy cycle. So talk about a little bit about how you eat.
I was going to say, and a lot of times, like I'll use the way I eat, I eat slow and I take pauses. And it takes me probably half an hour to finish something. And so I listen to my body, and I kind of feel like when you take pauses, then you realize, okay, I'm kind of full at this point and I don't have to eat that much. So I really just listen to my body.
One of the things that I did just the other day, and I realized, first of all, I got myself too hungry. So I talk about the hunger scale in my book. And 0 is where you're I call it hamster hungry. Like you're just ravenously hungry, right?
Yeah.
And then a 5 is kind of like Thanksgiving Day full.
Okay.
And I had waited a really long time to eat. We had gone out to lunch and I got these shrimp lettuce tacos. And it just had nothing but lettuce and a little bit of shrimp and some, other veggies in there. And I ate 2 of them, but I ate them too fast. And I looked at my husband. I was like, I'm still really hungry because I ate them too fast.
Right.
So I said, let's order I said, I'm going to order 2 more. So I ordered 2 more. And by the time they got there, then I finally realized, you know what, I'm kind of getting full now, right? Because I took the time. So just taking the food and taking pauses. 30 minutes to eat is a really long time. Mm-hmm. How did you train yourself to do that?
I try to keep myself busy. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I try to not think about food. I know that I feel like as humans, we just think about food. It's just ingrained in us. So I try to keep myself busy that I'm not thinking about food. I work 8 hours a day. I have a treadmill under my desk.
Oh, that's great.
So I'm constantly walking or running or doing something. And so I've just trained myself not to think that much about food. And when I do think about food, it's because I'm hungry. So I need to listen.
Yeah. So do you wait? It was so funny because this morning my stomach growled and my house manager was like, "Oh, your stomach just growled." And I was like, "Yay." Like it's kind of like sometimes people look at like your stomach growling as like a bad thing, but it's like, it's such a good thing. It's like, great. Now I know that my body is physically hungry. My heart's not hungry.
Right.
Do you ever eat because your heart is hungry, not because you're like emotions or, like you're sad and you're like,
no,
eating like a pint of ice cream. Have you seen like those? You've seen those chick flicks, yes, right? Where it's like, he just broke up with me. I've got to eat a gallon of ice cream right now.
Right. I haven't really done that, but I have eaten food from peer pressure because like somebody wants to go to dinner or so I feel like I have to eat. Mm-hmm. So
you've caved on those occasions.
100%.
So one of the stories that's in the book is a girl named Christy, and we used to do these things. We called it Thursday Fun Day when we were in Virginia Beach. And one of the things that I used to bring, everyone's supposed to bring a dish.
Okay.
And I made guacamole, and she just loved my guacamole. Well, my house manager. But whenever I brought it, I noticed that she's very thin, perfect body. Mm-hmm. And she would take the guacamole. She was like, "Chantel, bring the guacamole over here." So she would take like 2 spoonfuls in a cup and then put it in the refrigerator for herself because at that time that I brought it, she wasn't ready to eat.
Okay.
And so she was like, "I'm not hungry right now, but I don't want it to be gone when I am hungry." And so it was just like noticing that one thing was so magical for me because my way of thinking, my old way of thinking, not now, but my old way of thinking before I started interviewing thousands of women was like, "Oh, I don't want the guacamole to be gone, so I need to eat it right now," right? But in her mind, she's like, if my body's not hungry, there's no chance I'm going to eat, but I have a plan to eat that for later. So that was like a really good hack. Do you have any hacks like that you can think of where you would say, I want to really make sure I'm eating when my body's truly hungry, or, I don't want to eat when I'm not hungry. Maybe I'll go for a walk or I'll take a bath or, something like that. You kind of said you keep busy with other things.
Right.
Talk about how you kind of distract yourself from instead of running to food.
So usually it does involve exercise. It involves some kind of physical activity. I work out at home. So I'm not a gym person. I've tried it. I've tried joining gyms and it's not me. I don't know.
Well, whatever you're doing, it's working for you.
I think I don't like sharing equipment.
Or waiting in line.
Yeah, I just don't like it. I think that's my problem. But so I work out at home and then I'll just, I'll start doing squats. I'll do some arms. I'll get on my treadmill. I'll go for like a little sprint. And honestly, when I do that for like 2 to 5 minutes, I'm not thinking like if I'm hungry after that, then I'm hungry. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. That's so good. And just so you know, if you buy this is the 3rd edition of the book. So what I did was I wrote the 1st edition and the 2nd edition. And then I started realizing these interviews with these ladies were so important that I decided to add a whole section. So there's a whole bunch of new stuff. Half of the book has all kinds of new stuff in there,
That's
but a lot of it
awesome.
has these thin eater interviews. And you actually, not only when you buy the book, you get to see some of these interviews in the thin eater video course, and you actually get to see people eating, and you'll get tons out of it. It's crazy how much you'll get by just watching someone who has it dialed in. And I always say, if you want to get from here to there, go meet and follow someone who's already there, right? Like they already have a great body. She's already got this dialed in. Listen to what they're saying. So thank you again for being here.
Of course, you're
welcome. And you guys stay tuned. We've got another episode coming up in just a few. Bye-bye for now.